on July 10th, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we start our meeting for everything, I would like to, we lost a member of the Recreation Department who worked for the Recreation Department for over 34 years. He passed away. His name was Bill Bedreau. I'd like to, before we do a moment of silence, read what Bill did for us as an assistant director for over 34 years. Bill started with the department as a youth basketball director, hired by Dick Banal. In 1974, Bill was hired as the assistant recreation director and was responsible for developing and directing a number of new and existing programs for residents of all ages. One of his most memorable moments was being a member of the Burlington Recreation Department and being selected as Burlington's Outstanding Citizen in 1981. By the Junior Women's Club, and again in 2005 by the Burlington Rotary Club. Bill worked his entire career in Burlington with longtime director Don Roberts. He was elected as an original member of the Burlington Parks and Recreation Hall of Fame in 2017. So to Bill and your to Mr. Bedreau's family, we're sorry for your loss, and let's just stand for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. With that, approval of minutes, June 22nd, 2023.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Nelson, second by Commissioner Gaffney. Any questions on anything, anybody? So we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved 5-0-0. Public participation. We have someone in the audience tonight. Come on up, dear. How are you?
Thank you.
Just
I'm
state your
fine.
name.
My name is Paula Anton. As you may recall, I was here in May, at your May meeting with 20 of the other Council on Aging fitness participants of our class.
Yes.
To bring our concerns to you about the class having been eliminated for the summer. And I am here tonight just because I want to acknowledge the efforts that Brendan and Kelly have put in, and Marge, the COA director, to rectify the situation. I just want to thank you publicly, as I was here publicly before. So I don't want to say anything that Brendan should be saying to you, so things are moving forward positively, and we hope that there will be a continuation. We're set for the summer, I would say, and we hope there'll be a continuation in the fall.
Well, thank you
And
for
that's
those
all.
positive comments. I know Brendan and Kelly work very hard to accommodate, obviously you guys, and, when you guys came forward to us, we were concerned, but, like I said, things change, and I'm glad you guys were able to work it out, because I know these two will always work with partners to make things happen. So I hope going forward, everything works out for you guys on the Council on Aging. Thank you for coming forward and
Yes.
saying that.
Okay.
You have
You're welcome.
you have anything, Brendan?
No, thank you for taking the time to sit down and understand the process a little more with us and working with us, and I think we do have a good solution going forward. It's just putting those final pieces, I think, in place,
Right.
so.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Director of Parks and Recreation report, Brendan?
Thank you. My first item is we recently held a seasonal maintenance orientation. This is something that the program division has been doing for a number of years. And as we looked at our department growing and trying to standardize operations across the department. We worked with the park superintendent, Bill Baker, on items that should be included in a seasonal maintenance. We hire up to 10 seasonal laborers for our maintenance division each year, and they're expected to go out and work on cutting crews, trim crews, trash, work on the ball field crews, and just do any number of jobs. We have a couple that are stationed up at Simons Park for the summer, and in that, it's important for us to provide training to that staff so that they know how to use the equipment, that they're set up with safety equipment, that they know the policies and procedures of the department, and things like that. And they are working under the supervision of a full-time staff, but at times, they're expected to go out and complete tasks on their own, especially when they're up at Simons Park or if they're doing trash. Sometimes they have to work on the trash route with 2 seasonal staff. So we recently did an orientation for the entire seasonal staff, and some of the items that we discussed included safety, vehicle use, town and department policies and procedures, appropriate clothing, customer service. They are our eyes and ears in a lot of the parks and facilities that we don't have a program at. So, we felt that providing some customer service training as well would be good. We also hand out to all of our maintenance staff business cards that have a QR code on them, so people can scan that and go right to the department webpage, but also has our contact information on it. So if they have questions that the staff, whether full-time or seasonal, that are working in the parks, if they don't know the answer, they can direct them to the office. So we went through that as well, and those should be in all of their vehicles. And our goal is to provide a solid training for all of our staff, whether program division or maintenance division, so they have the tools and they're equipped to handle their job, even if it is a short 10-week season for them or 20 weeks. Some work upwards of 20 weeks, but they should be given the appropriate tools to succeed in their position, but also be trained on the equipment. So we went through that last week, and next year, there's some things that we took from that we'll do differently next year, but the basis is there going forward to have a good orientation for our seasonal maintenance staff.
Excellent.
Next item is just an update on what our maintenance staff has been up to. There were some Little League teams that were continuing to play, and our staff would prep a field, and then we'd get that afternoon rain and it'd be rained out. So it's carried on a little further than I think Brian Brothers with Burlington Baseball and Softball had hoped, but they are prepping. They were prepping fields for those, as well as adult softball, and the same thing happening with adult softball getting rained out. We're now going around to the fields that are no longer in regular rotation this summer, and renovating the fields, getting rid of any weeds that have grown in, recutting the infield arcs, doing work on the base paths, pitcher's mounds, batter box area, and then over the next few weeks, along with that, we'll also be getting the summer treatment out for fertilizer and overseeding. We are working with the Board of Health on a plan to replace the sunscreen dispensers in our parks. The dispensers were installed back in 2018 through a partnership with Leahy Health before they merged with Beth Israel, and a number of the units have been damaged over the years, and we've repaired them as best we can. And then they've also begun to fade out in the sun, so a good lesson on what the sun will do, even fade plastic. And they now have a new system out. It's a little different how it dispenses, a little more compact unit, and the Board of Health has agreed to purchase 20 new units for the parks, and they come with some little signboards along with them, and some freestanding posts as well, so we use them for some of our big events like Celebrate Burlington, Truck Day, we have them out there for Trucktober, those events, so we can mount some to those poles and move them around. So I was notified by the Board of Health today that we are good to go, so the order has been placed. So if you haven't seen them out in our parks, you will. Leahy will still be the sponsor for those, but also they will are sponsoring our UV index meters. We're waiting on, they redesigned the UV index meters, and we're waiting for the new ones to be produced to put those out. We keep those at Wildwood and up at Simons Park. And the UV index meter just tells you how long it will be before you should reapply sunscreen lotion, and then we'll have a dispenser, a couple of them at Simons. Just want to give an update on our vehicles. We have 2 vehicles that we had requested at Maytown meeting. The first was a pickup truck, and the other one was additional funds for an accessible van from FY21 town meeting. Both of those have not been ordered yet. They're waiting for the order, what do they call it, the order block bank to be established for this coming year, which they expect in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully they are producing those vehicles again on a regular basis, so it shouldn't be too long. It's usually a 3 to 4 month, so we'd see them sometime in the fall. And then the last thing, our outdoor facilities master plan. We've begun the process of putting out an RFP for that plan. That should go out in the next few weeks. I'm just finalizing the conditions for that in the specs, so that everyone is providing a proposal based on the same information. So I've been working with the town's purchasing agent on that, so we'll get that out. That's it.
Excellent. Anyone want to have questions for Brendan on his report?
No.
No? Thank you, Brendan. Assistant Director of Park and Recreation report, Kelly?
Thank you. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Hall of Fame. So our Hall of Fame was designed as part of our 50th anniversary events in 2017. And we have gone to an every 2 to 3 year cycle. 2023 happens to be a year that we will be inducting people into our Hall of Fame. We put information out in January in regard to people nominating individuals in each of the categories. We have 4 categories: an employee category, a volunteer category, a commissioner category, and partnering organization category. We will be bringing forward 4 total inductees in the probably next couple meetings.
By September.
Yep, and they will be in each category except for the volunteer category. We did not receive a nomination for that. There are 2 partnering organization that we feel are deserving. So you'll be seeing that in the next couple meetings from us. Our Therapeutic Recreation Division held their TR open house on Monday, June 26th at Simons Park. The TR open house is designed for participants and their family members to meet staff before they actually arrive at programs. So they are able to meet directors of programs. All of our directors are on site. All of our TR staff is on site, so they can meet the staff that they might be assigned to at least week 1, because that changes week to week. And as participants move through programs throughout the summer, they were able to meet and talk with separate directors. Also at that TR open house, Emma, our therapeutic recreation specialist, and Shosh, who is our therapeutic rec intern, put together social stories for each of our programs so that participants are able to have a story to take home with them so they can see what happens each day, just as a reminder. And it's very helpful for them to be able to see people and faces as a reminder of who they might be looking for, who their staff might be, who the director is going to be on site. That occurred again on Monday, June 26th. Our summer program, our program team put together the summer program orientation, which lasted June 26th to June 29th at Grandview Farm. Those are 3 full days of educational sessions, setting up for their programs, meeting with their directors and their program staff, and learning all kinds of new ways to reach children, how to manage behaviors, and our staff really received it very well. They really enjoy the conference-style orientation that we've gone to. We get great responses from them. They're engaged in all of our educational sessions, which we weren't seeing before. And I think our program staff did an amazing job with that this year. They brought in a park and recreation professional named Nelson, who works for the Summer Camp Society. And he did several engaging sessions with our staff, and then he went up and chatted with our volunteers as well. So that was a good use of his time as he was here. We would like to thank Emma, Jesse, Jeff, and Beth for working so hard to put on a well-rounded orientation, really getting our staff ready for summer. And they really hit the ground running, and they're doing an amazing job. I've been to several programs. I've been to all the programs at this point multiple times. And our staff is really engaged and excited, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to see that throughout the summer without hitting that big midsummer slump that we all fear. Thank you to them. We have our Celebrate Burlington event coming up and under special events. That'll be Saturday, August 5th from 11 to 4 on the Common. The carnival will be from 11 to 4, the car show from 5 to 7, concert from 7 to 9, and then fireworks at 9. We will be launching our fireworks from the Burlington High School once again this year. I know that's always a question of where they're going to be launched. They're going to be launched from here. So that is something to look forward to. We are still looking for some sponsors and some nonprofit organizations if they want to join us. So if anyone's interested, you can just forward them to me. Our website is up to date with information if they want to be able to reach out and fill out an application to start the process without having to call first. That's also available to them as well. I think that's all that I have.
Thank you, Kelly. Any questions for Kelly?
No, good report.
If I can just add, thank you. Our program staff last year really flipped orientation from sitting in a large room with 75 teenagers and young adults to this conference-style orientation utilizing the Grandview Farm. And you know, I think back to all my years of orientations and stuff, and I would much rather be able to get up and move around, and we are lucky to bring in some really good speakers, and they're always timely topics, new things pop up all the time, but there's some, you know, tried and true that we have to go through. And I think that, as Kelly mentioned, our staff that we hire in the summer really responds to the speakers that we bring in into the content of orientation. So I just want to double down on the thanks that Kelly shared. She was a big proponent of this style last year when she was the program coordinator, and really worked with Emma to kick it off in the right style last year, and it just continued this year with Jesse and Jeff, Emma and Beth as well. Just a great opportunity for our staff to get a head start on summer, right? To learn the basics, but also learn some good techniques for working with kids. So I just want to thank our program division staff again for that.
Excellent, thank you. Just a quick question for me, Kel. How are we doing with the summer programs with the weather? I know
It was hot last week.
well, the weather. Not only that, like you're getting you get in the wet at certain times. So you probably start the morning at Simon's or whatever, and then you just...
So today was our first official rain day.
Okay, I saw
and-
that on Facebook,
Yep.
that you let everyone know.
Yep, we notified people
I'm a
through Facebook
Facebook
on
guy,
our
sorta,
cancellation
with
line.
recreation.
We put out information, it's digitally, and the old-fashioned cancellation line. And parents know that that's where they're to call. That's included in all of their parent guide, all of the guide information. That last week for us, it only really rained on the 4th of July, and since we weren't running until Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we were able to operate perfectly fine. On a rain day like today, we partnered with the school district, and we were able to operate inside at Fox Hill, Pine Glen, and Burlington High School cafeteria. So we move our operations inside. Our middle school parks program happened to be going swim testing today, so we didn't have to reschedule any kind of trip for them, but we would look to do that in a case where we think rain is going to hit pretty hard. So we have backup plans for a lot of our trip locations, but all of the park programs and Club Simons have a rainy day location to go to. So we are lucky in that respect. Parks is the one caveat on Fridays because the school is closed on Fridays, and it's a free program on Fridays. If it rains, it's canceled. Other than that, we're able to accommodate everywhere. So
Excellent.
we're pretty fortunate.
Very good, very good. Thank you for that. Chairman's report, I have nothing to report. Status quo on me. Anyone else on subcommittee reports? Anything?
Brendan, are you going to mention the meeting that we had last week on Overlook? Was that
Sure.
part of the
Oh,
report?
yeah, I should have remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you want to?
No, you can talk.
We had a meeting with two members of the Board of Selectmen, as well as Steve and our chair and vice chair, Dave and Steve. Town council and the town administrator joined us as well, just to discuss, there was some conversation about the Windview Heights development, possibly accessing through Overlook Park. But there's a lot of things that would have to happen to be able to access the property through Overlook Park. Would have to go to the state to be approved and stuff, but I think, the general feeling was that would be used, it's parkland now, it would stay parkland, and with our future plans, whatever those are, once they're fully developed, would not be something that would be a viable option for that project.
Yeah.
Well said. Nothing to add on that, Dave?
No, so, yeah, I
Good
mean...
meeting, productive meeting, and...
Yeah, it was good that they they let us know what they were looking for, different avenues to get into that area, but, I mean, my personal opinion was a non-starter, but, the selectmen reached out they're trying to help the residents in that area, so they come up with a different spot, but I think on our end, I don't think they'll be looking to get through that area anytime soon. New business?
Okay.
Oh, did anyone have anything on subcommittee? No one had anything, right? No, good. Okay. I don't want to skip over anybody.
All right. Find my report here. So, as you had seen in your in the copy of my report, July is Parks and Recreation Month, and is an opportunity for us to officially acknowledge the importance of Parks and Recreation and the benefits it provides to our residents. This is a nationally recognized month, and this year's theme is Where Community Grows. It celebrates the vital role park and recreation professionals play in bringing people together, providing essential services, and fostering the growth of our communities. Since 1985, people in the United States have celebrated Park and Recreation Month in July to promote building strong, vibrant, resilient communities through the power of parks and recreation, and to recognize the more than 160,000 full-time park and recreation professionals. along with hundreds of thousands of part-time and seasonal workers and volunteers that maintain our country's local, state, and community parks. During the month of July, we are planning to celebrate our staff who make a positive impact on the lives of our community members every single day. I would like to ask the Recreation Commission show their support of our staff and all they do by proclaiming July Park and Recreation Month.
Excellent. We did this last year, and I'm sure we'll be doing it going forward. This is our busiest time of the year. It's a good time to recognize our Parks and Recreation and all the job that you guys do on the maintenance side, everyone that's involved in it. So I would go forward with the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Recreation Commission adopt and proclaim the month of July as Park and Recreation Month.
Second, moved by Commissioner Nelson, second by Commissioner Gaffney.
And,
Do you want to read it?
Chair Nelson, or I'm sorry, Chair Norton has a proclamation.
So that's what I was looking like. I don't have it in front of me. I just have
The long sheet.
You got it.
this one here?
Yep.
Okay. So designation as July as Park and Recreation Month. Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of the communities throughout this country, including Burlington, Massachusetts. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promote time spent in nature, which positively impact mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being. And alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for sports, hiking, trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote activities, lifestyle. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion in the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month. And whereas Burlington, Mass. Recognizes the benefits derived from Parks and Recreation resources. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Burlington Recreation Commission that July is recognized as Parks and Recreation Month in the town of Burlington. And we just,
Motion is made.
motion is paid, so we go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
500. The proclamation is approved. 500.
Thank you very much. If you could each sign that, we will hang that at the Parks and Recreation Department for the month. We are also going to ask the Select Board to proclaim it as Parks and Recreation Month as well. And in appreciation of all of your efforts as Recreation Commissioners in supporting the department and its initiatives, we have a few gifts, or some gifts for everybody that we would like to present you with.
Thank you.
And we really do appreciate you guys and your efforts to make Parks and Recreation in Burlington wonderful for everybody. And we actually enjoy when you using our parks and you catch things or point things out to us or offer suggestions. It is very helpful because we can't be everywhere at once. And I say that to community members if they call with something as well. You know, thank you for bringing those things to our attention, and so we can get them taken care of quickly. I know I get emails from Bill.
I'm out there a lot, you know.
You're on our two hottest topics, pickleball and disc golf. So, no, we really do appreciate it, because we can't be everywhere at once, and there's a lot of properties and facilities to cover, and trying to stay on top of them is daunting at times. So thank you very much. Thank you for supporting us. And on behalf of the staff, I'd like to thank you again, because I know they recognize the support you offer.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon, for those comments.
Just as a side note, there are shirts in there, and we guess on your sizes. If you need a different size, please just come back and
Yes, we have
let us know, and we'll get you whatever size you need.
plenty of sizes.
I love gifts. Everyone loves gifts. Thanks
Yes.
for gifts. So the next one is the public participation, second reading.
Yes. So at our June 22nd meeting, we discussed the public comment policy for commission meetings and held the first reading of the policy that included everyone's input. The document was attached in our packet with all of the comments or corrections, and if there's no further, this would constitute the second reading.
Okay.
If
are there
everyone
any-
had a chance to review it.
A motion on the public participation at meetings? So moved by Commissioner Carlson,
Second.
second by Commissioner Brooks. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for doing the work on this, too.
Yeah.
No
Lindsay.
problem. If anybody needs to see a clean copy.
Good
Yeah, I
job.
gotta-
Yeah.
Good job.
So I will, if you could email the clean copy, because I didn't want to take the changes off until everything was made.
Right.
If you want to send it out to everybody, and then I'll make sure it's included in our policy manual, the updated policy for it.
Excellent. Thank you for that work. Any old business, Brendan?
I just have a couple items I'd like to update on. So we had talked about the potential for some lights, temporary lights at Mary Cummings, and I did speak with a representative of the trustees, and they do not have any initial concerns over, it doesn't change the use of the property, it doesn't go against, they're not permanent. So I have received a quote from a local rental company for solar lights. They do have them. There might be some noise with the engine running, for the system, but not very much. And I shared that with USoccer, who is the one that may be requesting. And they will be reviewing it at their next meeting. I believe it's tomorrow night, and then get back to me, and then we can put it into full motion at our August meeting. But if anyone has concerns before that, let me know, and I can share them with USoccer or with any, whoever the concern may revolve around, so that we can have answers for that for our next meeting. So I think we're heading in the right direction there.
Anyone have any question? Go ahead.
Through the chair. Brendan, a couple of things. It was a good recommendation or suggestion by Bill last week to look into the solar. And I agree. I think if you have generators, that makes a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Do we have electricity up there where you could just plug them into existing electrical outlets?
We do not. We
Is-
do not.
Okay, next follow-up question. Is the solar option, does that generate as much light as the generator option?
That's a good question. I didn't ask specifically comparison. I will ask that question, but I'm going to guess they're probably going to generate about the same, because that's the whole idea, right? Is you're replacing what you're putting out with a gas engine with solar. It might be better light. I'm not sure.
Just
Your only
one.
limiting factor is the amount of sunlight you get directly, so it's something
During
we
the
do
day.
at my company. So how many watt hours you put in is based on how many watt hours you get out, right?
Okay.
So if you don't have direct sunlight, or if you put it in some kind of shady spot, you're not gonna be able to charge as much, and it really on cloudy days, 300 watt generator is only gonna generate probably 80 watts of electricity sustained to trickle charge those. So you'll run into some issues where you may have supplemental power needs.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Luckily, there's no shade up there. It's sitting up at the top of that, but I will fall back on that, or ask them what the specific models they have, how they, okay, so you're saying, sorry, in your experience, a full day,
Full day sun, again, it's how many watt hours of storage you
Okay.
can have, right? So calculating watt hours of storage needed based on what the panels produce, and then doing a study, how much direct sunlight you get to charge it and produce those watt hours. Because again, even if it's a 600 watt panel, on an ideal day, it may only be producing 300 watts just based on the look angle or something
Okay.
else.
and that will translate in the hours that you'll get out of it as
Usable
well.
hours of electricity, right?
So earlier in the season, I'm going to guess that they use less hours, maybe an hour and a half, or later in the season, they might be up to 2.5 hours
Correct, yeah, and you just need to make sure you have enough watt hours, battery storage.
to cover.
To cover, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
Yep, no worries.
Brendan, follow-up question, I guess, to that is, what was the cost difference between using the gas-powered versus the solar? Was there a
Well,
huge?
I didn't even ask that because I figured the option here was probably solar, you know?
I recall, if I may, Mr. Chairman? I recall from what I saw on a very large rental, it was $100 less than the gas.
Great.
Oh, excellent. I'll get that
Comparable,
answer.
You know,
We have access to, and I don't think we could get them for as long, but the Northeast Emergency Management Group that this area is involved in, they used to have a stockyard of supplies like this over in Lexington. I think the main yard's up in Beverly now, but I don't think we could get them for the 2-month, but they do have them, and municipalities have access to them at like, you know, maybe $50 a day or some, you know, some ridiculous amount. It's very cost effective. We were getting generators for Celebrate Burlington. We get light towers from time to time. But I will check, just, that's good to know in the future too.
Commissioner Brooks, quick question. How long would a solar panel, how long can the storage stay? Say like it's Tuesday, and, you know, they want to use it on, and it's cloudy, it rains for 2 days, and then they want to use it on that Thursday night. Will it work?
Yeah, it'll work, so, right, so again, doing simple math, so if there's 1,000 watt hours.
It just
of-
stays
of 1
stored in the
kilowatt of
batteries.
Storage, it'll stay, there'll be some parasitic draw just based on it sitting there, but as long as you are above the threshold of power required for the time you need, it'll work.
Okay. I just want to make sure that, you know,
Yeah.
that we're not, we go with that option, you know, when we don't have sun first, you know, okay, that's good. Thank you for that.
And then my last old business item, at our last meeting, we approved the Community Theater Group of Burlington, formerly the Burlington Players, lease agreement. They've had a change in their presidency, and they're going to have new elections, a board meeting, their annual meeting, and some elections in early August. I'm just going to hold off on the agreement until they have a new person in. They had a kind of a sudden change. So I'm going to wait to present that until the new president and board, and they understand what the agreement is and have had a chance to review it,
Okay.
okay, before it's presented to them. And then as soon as that happens, I'll keep you informed.
All right, thank you. Any reason for an executive session?
None.
None. Okay, so when can we next meet in August? I'm good in August. I'll be around pretty much the whole month,
I'm away the 12th through the 19th.
12th to the 19th. Let me look at my,
Me too.
Bill, you good?
That should be okay.
You want to do it? What nights, you guys want to do it on Monday? What nights work for you guys?
Dave, I'm available on the 21st or the 28th of August. Or on Wednesdays, 23rd, I could do it on the 23rd or the 30th.
What's good for you guys?
I don't have anything planned, so unfortunately, I'm free.
You guys good on the 21st or the 23rd? Lindsay, when you,
And is there anything earlier, not on a Monday?
I'm not available,
No.
so you're not available the first 2 weeks?
no.
Okay. You make, I mean,
we're going to have a revolving report coming up that will, earlier in August. So probably some expenditures out of there that we'll need
That
before the end of
we'll need some
August.
voting on?
Yeah.
Well, we can, as long as we get 4, we have a quorum. If Commissioner Nelson can't make it, that's okay.
Yeah. Maybe stay away from the first week of August leading into the 5th because.
Yeah, that's a busy week for us because we got Celebrate Burlington.
Yep.
So the 7th to 14th.
So anything that week, yeah, the week of the 7th through the 11th?
That week there?
Yeah.
So you want to go with the 7th or
I won't be around the 7th.
the 9th?
The 9th, I'll be back.
August 9th?
Yep.
6 o'clock here?
Sorry, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, I will look at that.
Yeah,
So
he's
we'll
busy,
say
that's,
August 9th, 6
I
PM.
mean,
And
I'm
then
trying
back up to that, if that's not available, or the 10th, do you have planning board?
Uh,
The 10th,
I don't think so.
okay. So maybe, does the 10th work for other people as well?
Yes.
Okay.
That works for
I'll
me.
use
I'll
the-
follow up in the planning board, just to let you know.
Okay. I'll say the 10th is a backup, but I'm sure we can, if this
School
isn't
committee, you
available
guys
on the
meet on
9th.
Tuesday nights, right?
Tuesdays, yeah.
If this isn't available on the 9th, there's probably another room that we can meet in.
I hope you guys don't have to stand out in the rain for the next meeting.
Yes, I will ensure that we do not.
So we're looking at August 9th, 6 o'clock here. Very good. Will be the next meeting. Anyone else have anything? Questions, anything? What?
Chairman, just a couple items.
Sure, okay.
My usual 2 subjects, I guess, I'm obligated to talk to those every meeting. One thing is just, as I was strolling around the last couple of weeks around the disc golf course, there were some presents left. 2 weeks ago was at the base of the basket, so people wouldn't miss the blue bags. This week it was just along the fairway of the second hole. I was wondering maybe if there's a dog station or something we could put around there, just to hint to the folks that are dropping those presents off to maybe put them somewhere else versus just leaving them where they think somebody else might be picking them up. Just a recommendation.
Yep, what I can do to start, let's try this first. If we can put a word out to the disc golf community. There's some Facebook pages and stuff that
Yeah.
when people call me, they're like, oh, I saw it on here. And we have a pretty good Nick Brozak who came in and discussed course design with us and some improvements, has a good hand on that. So
Okay.
I will ask them to put that out there. I hesitate to put a barrel out there, especially one that would be just for dog waste, because if people do choose to use it, it'll become trash as well, which, we're careful about transporting just dog waste in general, but it gets put into all of our trash cans. So if it stays an issue, then we can look at that. It's just, where do you put it out there, right? Because there's 7 holes that are in the woods. And if someone brings their dog along or whatever and just drops it wherever,
I don't see most disc golfers walking with their dogs. It's
Yeah.
usually just dog walkers who are out there.
oh, yeah, we go by sometimes and the dogs are great, they're sitting. How they don't want to chase that
Right,
Frisbee
I
on
would imagine.
on the second hole there along Cambridge Street, I don't know, and then we'll see them coming up through the woods and they're playing and the dog's having a grand time, has a little bandana on, and so, but we'll try that. Thank you. I appreciate that email this morning.
Yeah,
because
sure.
It wasn't something that I was aware of, and
Yeah, no worries.
No one
And,
brought it
the other one, just on the pickleball, of course, just since I was finishing up, I go early Sunday mornings, and just to check out the noise level, and it's noisy, but then as I came around the corner, there's, you didn't hear the music and you didn't hear the people talk, but the music is still going on. Even with the sign up that says no music, pickleball.
Really?
It's just very frustrating.
would it be the same gentleman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dave, one quick item of old business.
Absolutely, Commissioner Nelson.
Brenda, I'm just wondering if there's any update on the time for completion of that Wildwood Shade project?
We re-met with a contractor who had gotten us, or actually, not a contractor, vendor, who had gotten us the initial estimate a few years ago, and then he got us a new estimate. I just haven't been able to dive into it now, but I believe it was the price had come down. We remeasured and we were looking at trying to be as creative as possible with the amount of money that we had that would still do the work intended of a shade structure. And I reopened that. We're working with them in May. So I apologize, just haven't gotten
That's no
back
problem.
into it. So we will do that, and I'll try to have an update for the next meeting.
Thank you. That's all I have, David. Thank you.
Commissioner Brooks?
Just one parting shot for Brendan and Kelly. Got a couple families' feedback with the Parks program, said it's awesome, great option for them. They're really enjoying it, so you guys are doing a good job. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Guys, let's go to
Motion made to adjourn?
a motion,
Second?
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 500, motion is approved. We are